Hello everyone, my name is Saurabh and in this presentation I'll be talking about SQL and the queries associated with it, and we'll see some practical examples. So let's begin.
So let's start with the components of SQL. So a structured query language. It's actually mainly divided in five roughly parts. So we have this set of commands inside a category. So we have 4 or 5 different types of categories when we talk about SQL. So I have uploaded this SQL overview document inside my GitHub. So I will provide the link to it at the end. And so these are the basically components of SQL commands. We have DDL, and then we have DQL, DML, and DCL. So let's go through the details. So first command is DDL, that is data definition language. So whenever we create or modify database objects such as tables, indexes, and users, we use the data definition language. So we have some basic commands associated with DDL. Create, you can create database or create table. Then we have drop, if you want to drop anything. Then we have like alter, if you want just a specific, to changes in terms of like, constraints or columns. And if you want to drop anything or you want to add anything to a particular table, we use that. Then we have the truncate. Truncate basically, we when we want to remove all the records from a table and not the table itself, then we use the truncate command. So it is useful when you actually deal with a large table with a lot of data. So it is faster than the delete. Then we have like comments when you want to add any label to your tables. Then you have rename, just want to simply rename the DB objects. So once you are done with like, creating a schema, we move on to actually working with the data into the tables. So basic DML commands, data manipulation language, consist of insert, update, and delete. So as simple as that, insert means to insert data into table. Like in this example, I'm inserting data into my movie table. And then we have like key update if you want to update a field in particular table, or you want to delete something from a table. Then we have the data query language, also known as data retrieval. This is just a select command where you want to get something from your database. We use this data query language. We have simple commands like we want to extract everything from a table, or you have rather complex ones where you're performing a lot of joining. You have where clauses, then you are using group by, you are having class, you are sorting the results as well, you are limiting also your data, so you can perform even a complex data retrieval using the select. Then you have data control language. So data control deals with your rights and permission. So which user have what sort of permission to what sort of data. So basic commands are associated with it is grant and revoke. So grant, you simply grant certain permission on certain DB object to certain user. Like in this case, I'm granting the insert operation on movie to public. Then you can simply revoke also, that just the reverse of grant. If you have already provided any privileges to any certain user, you can revoke it. Then we have last category is transaction control language. So what this is basically how you are controlling the transaction happening within your database. So how basically it's just commit and rollback. How it works is you perform a transaction, and once you performed it, until unless you commit it, it won't actually store in your database, right? So to store it, you perform a commit operation. Now we have simple rollback if you want to undo your last transaction. And then if you want to undo a transition only to certain point, then we create the save point. So what happens is like this example, if you're performing a rollback, right? So the rollback will happen to particular certain save points, right? So then you have something called auto commit that we'll be using in our examples. Basically, when you have a third party software and using that you're connecting to your DB, that third party may not necessarily have this auto commit on, and you have chances of losing the data once you get out of that particular system. So we'll be using this. So this is basically the broad category. We divide our SQL into. Now let's see some practical.